Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. I saw recently in national news headlines here in Ireland that there's a campaign going on where Irish families that have lost loved ones in road traffic accidents are launching a campaign to encourage people not to share details of accidents as soon as they happen. Because what is happening is there is a phenomenon on social media where people will share about an accident and sometimes even give the name of the person who's been killed before their relatives know about it. And so there have been very close relatives, including parents, including spouses, who the police go to break the terrible news that their loved one has been killed, and they've already found out on social media. And so the campaign is quite rightfully encouraging people to restrain themselves from doing that and to have some compassion for how this news is broken to people who have been so terribly bereaved. You know, breaking that kind of bad news is a horrible job. I've spoken with police officers who have told me that of all the things they've had to do, and you know, I've relatives who in the police and friends who were police officers, and they've shared some of the horrible situations they've had to face and some of the tragic situations, but they said they were all agreed that the hardest thing of all was to go and break the news to somebody that their loved one is dead. Do you remember one occasion in our house growing up, whenever the police arrived to tell my parents that my brother had been killed in a motorcycle accident? Turned out it wasn't him. He was actually upstairs in the house at the time doing his homework. But what had happened was he had just sold a motorcycle to somebody else, and the guy on the way home I believe he had a heart attack while he was riding the motorcycle and was killed. And the police, when they checked the registration, thought it was my brother that was dead, and so arrived to tell my parents that my brother was dead when he was very much alive. But apparently they were very, very relieved that they weren't having to share that bad news after all, even though somebody else was going to have to share that news with another family. You know, I've had to do that myself. There's been several occasions when I've had to go and break the news to people that a loved one has died, and it's something I found so difficult and so hard and very traumatic. Sharing bad news is never easy, but sometimes we have to do it. But the good thing is that we are called primarily not to share bad news with people, but to share good news. And that's an amazing thing. To be able to share good news to people is really wonderful. There's been some times whenever people, for example, have made through the church, have said they want to make a particular gift to an individual that was in need or in difficult circumstances. And I've had the joy of going to that person and saying, look, somebody's given you a large financial gift, and just watching the relief and the joy that has brought to people. Bringing good news is a wonderful thing. Sharing bad news is tough, but sharing good news is fantastic. So why is it we sometimes find it so difficult to share the greatest news of all? And that is the news that Jesus Christ has died for people, that he's carried the penalty for their sins upon the cross, and that there's an open invitation for them to come to Jesus Christ in faith, to place their trust in him, to repent of their sins, and to be born again. That truly is the best news that we can share with people. Now, I can understand people not wanting to share bad news with somebody. It is traumatic, it is difficult. But to be reluctant to share good news, particularly the greatest news of all, is rather puzzling. And I encourage you today, hopefully you're not going to have to share any bad news with anyone today. My prayers are with you if you do have to do that. But you've got the opportunity to share good news. Share today the good news with somebody that Jesus Christ is offering them the opportunity of their lifetime, that they can turn to Jesus and be set free and receive joy and receive salvation. May God give you the grace to witness that truth wisely as you share the good news with somebody today. God bless you. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda.